are an important part for keeping peace between countries, especially when it comes to foreign relations.
A formal agreement between two or more states in reference to peace, alliance, commerce, or other international relations.
Here is an example of an international treaty and its effects on the United States.
Well, new concerns today as the United Nations is now considering at this moment a global arms treaty that would curtail certain gun sales. Right now, the UN is working on a plan that would put a whole new set of international gun rules in place. Supporters, including the Obama administration, argue it will make the world more secure by tamping down on weapons commonly used by gangs and terrorists. But critics fear it would infringe on the Second Amendment right to bear arms right here in the United States.
Dangers. If we did not make an effort to have healthy relationships with other countries, it could lead us to wars, and in effect, we would not have the resources that come from those countries.
Thankfully, the United States government makes sure that we, the people, do not get involved in these kind of situations.
Article 2, the Executive Branch, Section 2, Paragraph 2 of the United States Constitution states the following. He, the President, shall have the power, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur.
An executive agreement is very similar to a treaty in which they both consist of a written document that unites two or more nations, but an executive agreement does not require the approval of the Senate.
The Czech Republic, of course, is a close friend and ally of the United States, and I have great admiration and affection for the Czech people. Their bonds with the American people are deep and enduring.
This is why it is crucial to have an ambassador to communicate our needs, concerns, and any issues that may arise.
Grüezi, bonjour, buongiorno, allegra. I'm Susie Levine, and I am honored that President Obama has asked me to serve as U.S. Ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Switzerland and the United States are often referred to as the sister republics. Like Switzerland, many states in America have a blend of direct and representative democracy.
Another important aspect of international relations is trading. Even though it is difficult to have a balanced trading situation, it is essential to be as close to this as possible.
Country's trade balance, also called balance of trade, is the calculation of its exports minus imports. The balance can also be understood as how many goods and services are being sold to foreign countries minus how many goods and services our domestic citizens are buying from foreign countries. There are many factors that can affect the balance of trade. A few of these are exchange rates, currency valuations, economic growth, income of citizens, inflation, recessions or growth in other countries, and the competitiveness of domestic firms. While achieving a perfect trade balance may not be practical or even in the best interest of a country, it is important to briefly discuss the concept in theory. A perfect trade balance would be a situation where a country would import only as much as it exports, leading to trade and money flows that are balanced.
Another important aspect of trading is the North American Free Trade Agreement, otherwise known as NAFTA.
NAFTA stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement, a pact signed by Canada, the U.S., and Mexico to create a trade bloc. The agreement, which went into force January 1, 1994, calls for the reduction or elimination of most trade barriers between the three countries.
Daniel Griswold, who is with the Cato Institute. Thank you for being with us. Let me begin by asking you what impact you think NAFTA will have on the U.S. economy.
Well, it's been in effect for 15 years, and I think the impact has been positive on our economy, but more importantly on our foreign policy. It was never going to have a big effect on the U.S. economy. The U.S. is 17 times larger than Mexico. Our trade barriers were already pretty low. We had the maquiladora system up and running, but it's really been a foreign policy success. It has deepened our ties to Mexico and Canada, basically built the bonds of friendship between our two closest neighbors. Mexico is a different country than it was 25 years ago. It's a vibrant multi-party democracy. They are on the road to modernization economically and politically, and NAFTA has played an important role in that. So I think it's been a modest success.
The American people should have a greater influence over what we trade, simply because what the government wants is not always what we want as a whole.
The most crucial aspect that trade specifically affects is the economy. Going back to what Casey says, the people should have a greater say in a majority of things that occur in this country.